I've somehow managed to develop a foreign accent in every single language that I speak. And yes, this has most likely contributed to me festering a certain wide array of insecurities about my identity and my belonging in the world in general. But it has also given me the unmistakable resonance of a multilingual. I grew up learning Spanish and Romanian at the same time. My father speaking to me in Spanish and my mother in Romanian. So naturally, I acquired perfect accents in both languages. Which is obviously not fucking true. Brief period, I managed to speak the two languages in their corresponding accents. But it all changed when I started taking English classes at the age of 3. Because of course, my parents weren't satisfied with the mental torture of learning two languages at the same time as little more than an infant. So I was destined to become trilingual. And so now I have somehow managed to speak Romanian with a Spanish accent, a slight Spanish accent, and Spanish with a little bit more of a Romanian accent. Do not ask me how the hell it happened, I do not know. And how do I speak English? Well, you are the judge of that. Some people have called it a Scandinavian accent. Some people have recognized its like Romanian origins. Some people call it a goddamn English accent. Some people call it a perfect American accent. A choose your own adventure game at this point. Et bien sûr, avec le français, il y a personne que peut critiquer ma prononciation parfaite, mon accent de bourgeoise. Je suis le roi de la langue française. Personne peut dire une autre chose. Quelque chose d'autre. But besides making me suffer from imposter syndrome in every single possible situation that I could ever find myself in, this weird goddamn way of articulating my words and sentences has also given me a weird sense of pride. Let's see why. Firstly, because of how out of place it makes me feel in certain scenarios, it has led me to find refuge and believe in internationalism, which in my opinion is the easiest, most effective way to become the polar opposite version of a bigot. Because the more languages that you speak and the more nationalities you're exposed to, the easier it is going to be to accept people that have people of other races, genders, sexualities, nationalities, etc. Being bilingual means submerging yourself 10 times more frequently and deeper than a monolingual would. Because, for example, in order to back up my point, you can Google how many languages does a person on average speak in every single European country, and then immediately afterwards look at what European countries are considered the most racist and welcoming to foreigners. I'll guarantee you one thing. The Netherlands and Belgium are always going to be pretty accepting and not xenophobic. Because one, they are extreme polyglots, and two, they speak a very large variety of languages. For example, if you're looking at Eastern Europe, we are all polyglots here. We speak a lot of languages. But, for example, in Eastern, Southern Europe, if you look at Serbia and Bosnia and Herzegovina, stuff like that, the languages that they speak are very, very similar. So, there's not a lot of variety, which might explain their slightly hostile demeanor when facing strangers. But countries like Belgium and the Netherlands, I mentioned the Netherlands, and Denmark speak a large variety of languages, because you can also look a little bit more in the north and see that the Baltic states are not doing that well when it comes to racism and stuff like that, even though they are trilingual or maybe even actual polyglots speaking 4 languages. No, you need a large variety of languages. For example, you need to speak a little bit of Russian, a little bit of English, you have a Slavic language, a Germanic language, a little bit of Romanian, you have a Romance language. You have 3 different languages from 3 different groups. Because if you learn languages from the same groups, you're not exposing yourself to that much variety. So please, 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 pretty please, take everything with a pinch of salt. Or maybe even 2 kilograms of salt, in fact. Secondly, it makes me powerful in every single context, linguistically speaking. When I'm speaking Spanish with a wonky Romanian accent, every single person intuitively knows, every single person listening to me intuitively knows that I clearly have Romanian hidden up my sleeve, that I am not a monolingual beta, as Language Simp would say. And I'm far from a human calculator, but speaking 3 languages, Romanian, Spanish, and English, and having some like rudimentary knowledge when it comes to French has made me a way more impressive individual, way more respected. And you may be asking, do people like not make fun of you because you're not the best at any given language? Yes. But hey, you win some, you lose some. The same people that make fun of me because of my pronunciation in Romanian, Spanish, French, or English could not utter a word of German or French to save their lives. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're equal. And last but not least, people are absolutely fascinated by it. Even though I get made fun of for the occasional horrible inflections in my voice and my lapses and vocabulary, if we use that word in English, I'm also the subject of quite a lot of worship, we can call it. Just like how obesity used to be seen as a sign of royal excess and abundance, a foreign accent is forever going to be associated with the intellectual hunt, the never-ending hunt for mental elasticity and intellectual might. People always ask me in awe how many languages I speak, and when I give the pretty modest response of 3, maybe 4, they are always on the verge of fainting out of pure excitement and because of how impressed they are. And in conclusion, I'm going to tell you why. I speak however I can with confidence. Just like we talked about in my previous video about accents, they are a remnant of your hard work and endless devotion to the endless craft of understanding culture. I hope you enjoyed. I have other videos, but none of them edited as well as this one. But yeah, always remember what we've just talked about, that your accent makes you beautiful.